A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Islamic Studies Notes. Today we will be discussing the classification of Hadees according to the reliability and memory of the reporters. Among the early traditions, mostly of the first 2 centuries, Hadees were classified into two categories: sahih, that are sound, or hasan, that are good. Sahih Hadees and Hasan Hadees we will be discussing in our lecture, and also there is another kind which is daif. So let's start. Sahih Hadees. Sahih Hadees is the one which has a continuous chain made up of reporters of trustworthy memory from similar authorities, and which is found to be free from any irregularities or defects. In Arabic it is أن يكون متصل السند عن عادل وضابط من غير شذوذ ولا علة. So there are 5 conditions in the Sahih Hadith. A Sahih Hadith reaches the 5 conditions, that it has muttasil sanad, an adil wa dabit, the reporter is adil wa zabit, and there is no shazuz wala illa, hidden defect in the hadith. The 5 conditions of the Hasahi hadith are continuity in chain, an yakuna muttasil as-sanad, adil. Adil means the reporter should be Muslim, an adult and normal and sane person, God-fearing and having the trustworthy and good character. The next condition is dabit, that the reporter has complete and sound memory and does not make any mistake in narrating the hadith. The next condition is shuzuz, ghair shuzuz. Shuzuz of 2 persons means when a trustworthy rawi contradict with the person who is more trustworthy than him. So hadith sahih is free from all these conditions, the last condition of which is wala illa, it is free from any hidden defect. Of all the characters of the hadith, Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, the most authentic is Sahih Bukhari. Why? Because it has 2 additional conditions, that the time of the narrators should be the same and they must meet each other. The narrators must have met each other and the time of the narrators is the same. Now comes the grading of the hadith, that which hadith is the most sahih. The most sahih hadith is the one which is narrated by Bukhari and Muslim both. The next most sahih hadith is narrated by the Bukhari only. The next one is narrated by Muslim only. The next is which agree with the requirements of both the Bukhari and Muslim, but Bukhari and Muslim have not included it in their book. The next Sahih Hadith is which agree with the requirements of Bukhari only, and the next one is in grading that fulfill the conditions of Muslim only. And the last one is those declared Sahih by other traditions, some other books about the Sahih Hadith, for example, Mustadrak al-Hakim. That includes the hadiths that fulfill the requirements of both Bukhari and Muslim. Now we'll be discussing what is Hasan. Hasan comes from the root word hasana, the literal meaning of which is something good and beautiful. Hasan Hadith is the hadith that the narrators of which are slightly low in intellectual level than those of Sahih Hadith, but it fulfills all the other conditions. By lower, it means it a degree less in his preservation or memory of hadith in comparison to the reporters of the sahih hadith. Otherwise, he is God fearing, he is sane, he is trustworthy, and has good character. Only his memory is a degree less in his preservation in comparison to the reporters of the sahih hadith. So, according to the definition of Hadith Hasan, it fulfills the four conditions. The reporter is slightly low in memory, the chain is continued, the reporter is a Muslim adult, normal, God fearing. Illa is a hidden defect that affects the authenticity of the Hadith, in which only memory is lower than the Hadith Sahih. So these are the four conditions of Hasan Hadith. The illa is only due to a slight low memory of the reporter. Let me quote a hadith that is Hasan. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الراكب شيطان والراكبان شيطانان والثلاثة ركب. A single rider is a devil, and a pair of riders are a pair of devils, but three are a company of riders. That is Hasan Hadith. The Hadith Hasan and Sahih Hadith are further divided into two kinds each. First is Sahih li zatihi, Sahih li ghayrihi, then Hasan li zatihi and Hasan li ghayrihi. Hasan li zatihi. It is a Hadith Hasan, but it is supported by some other chain or chain of Hadith also. Hasan li ghayrihi. It is a weak Hadith, but supported by some other chain, and the reason of weakness is not lying or wickedness of the character of the reporters. That is, if the reporter was wicked and did not have any reliable character, then it will not be a Hasan Hadith in the first place. The last and third kind is daif. It is between acceptance and rejection. A hadith that fails to reach the status of Hasan is daif, and usually its weakness is because of telling of the lies of the reporter, wickedness of the reporter is an innovator or creator of the hadith, or the chain is discontinuous. The conditions to narrate daif hadith. So the smaller the number of importance of defects, the lesser is the weakness, and the more the defect in number and severity, the closer the hadith will be to being rejected or maudu. But we can narrate daif hadith with two conditions: that it is not about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes or regarding aqaid. It does not describe any practical issue like ahkam shari'iyya, wasiya, talaq, nikah, etc. It is taken only in the stories of the Christians and the Jews, like we have the hadith, hadithu an bani Israel wala haraj. It can be narrated if we want to promote extra deeds like nawafil, like in Fazail Amal, and promoting the ibadat. And it can only be narrated in moral values. For example, if you want to propagate the value of truth among the people. So this is the end of the lecture. I hope it was all clear. Inshallah. Wa ma alayna illa al balagh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.